Hey there, folks! Today, we're going to talk about a fascinating topic that might just surprise you. How well do you know your medical records? Now, you might be thinking, I don't have time to read through my medical records. But trust me, it's worth it. Your medical records can provide a wealth of information about your health, your family's health, and even your ancestry. So, let's dive in and explore this amazing special effects, cinematic masterpiece, stunning visuals, timeless story, and stirring adventure that is your medical records. Who knows? You might just uncover some fascinating insights about yourself and your family. Thank you for joining us today, and don't forget to follow and subscribe for more intriguing topics like this one. Stay curious, stay healthy.
Nadia thought her medical records were just a routine collection of past checkups and prescriptions, until one mysterious entry turned her world upside down. In a gripping quest for truth, she uncovers hidden secrets about an experimental drug with bizarre side effects, including swollen limbs and distorted appearances. With the help of others who were affected, Nadia exposes a massive cover-up by a pharmaceutical giant that altered patient records to hide their failures. As the shocking truth unravels, Nadia's determination becomes a rallying cry for transparency and justice in healthcare. This suspense-filled journey will leave you questioning, how well do you know what's in your medical records? Most of us assume they're just a list of vaccinations, prescriptions, and routine tests. But for Nadia, uncovering her medical records turned her life upside down and exposed secrets she never imagined. What if your health history isn't entirely yours? What if hidden within the fine print are mistakes, or worse, intentional omissions, that could change your life forever? Nadia wasn't someone who worried much about her health. At 29, she was busy juggling work, friends, and family. But for weeks, she had been struggling with unexplained fatigue and nausea that wouldn't go away. Probably just stress, her doctor, Joe, said during her visit. His calm reassurance helped, but when her symptoms persisted, Joe ordered routine tests just to be safe. Weeks later, when the results came back inconclusive, he suggested monitoring the situation. Sometimes these things resolve on their own, he explained. Most patients would have stopped there. But something about his casual tone didn't sit right with Nadia. Her intuition told her there was more to uncover. That's when she decided to do something most people never think about: request her complete medical records. Sitting at her kitchen table that evening, laptop open, she scrolled through the PDF. Most of it seemed straightforward: notes from past visits, routine checkups, and standard prescriptions. But then, something caught her eye. A prescription for a drug she had never heard of, Clinarax 12. Her heart raced as she read the entry. How could this be? She had never been prescribed this drug, let alone taken it. Why was it in her records? Nadia immediately started searching for information online. At first, she found dry technical descriptions and pharmaceutical jargon that didn't mean much. But as she dug deeper, she stumbled across a forum filled with stories from people who had taken Clinarax 12. That's when the real shock set in. Sharon, one of the forum members, described how her legs had swollen to twice their size, making it nearly impossible to walk for months. Phil shared a horrifying story of his head swelling so much that he couldn't leave his house without being stared at. Gemma's story was equally strange. Her belly had grown to an absurd size, making her the target of cruel jokes from strangers. The symptoms were bizarre, but what struck Nadia most was that every person eventually recovered after stopping the drug. Still, no one could explain why it caused such extreme side effects in the first place. The drug seemed to have vanished from the market, leaving only questions behind. Why was it in her medical records? And why hadn't her doctor mentioned it? The next morning, Nadia stormed into Joe's office, holding the printed copy of her records. "What is this?" she demanded, pointing to the prescription. Joe's usual calm demeanor wavered. He adjusted his glasses, glancing at the page. "That must be a clerical error," he stammered. "These things happen sometimes." Nadia wasn't convinced. How could something so specific, so dangerous, be dismissed as a simple mistake? She left the office more determined than ever to find answers. Her search led her to Phil, whose story had haunted her since reading it online. She reached out, and he agreed to meet her at a coffee shop. When he walked in, she was relieved to see he looked perfectly normal. "I wasn't always like this," Phil said as they sat down. "For months, I couldn't even look in the mirror." Clenorax 12 wasn't supposed to be given to patients, it was experimental. But the pharmaceutical company rushed it to market anyway. They wanted to see how it worked on real people, so they manipulated our medical records to make it look like we'd consented. Phil explained how the company had used patients as test subjects without their knowledge, covering up the bizarre side effects by falsifying records. When they realized how bad it was, they pulled the drug and tried to erase all traces of it, he said. Nadia's stomach churned. If Phil was right, how many other patients had unknowingly been part of this experiment? Phil mentioned another person who might have answers, Sharon, a former pharmaceutical representative who had worked directly with Clenorax 12 before quitting in disgust. When Nadia tracked her down, Sharon didn't hesitate to share what she knew. Her living room was filled with stacks of documents and evidence she had kept. They knew the risks from the beginning, Sharon said, pulling out a file. The trials showed these side effects, but they hid the results. When patients started experiencing the symptoms, they blamed everything except the drug. Sharon revealed internal memos from the pharmaceutical company, which showed a deliberate effort to manipulate data and downplay the side effects. Patients' medical records were altered to erase any evidence of Clenorax 12. The company's goal was profit, no matter the cost to human lives. Nadia was horrified but also driven. She knew they had enough evidence to expose the truth. With Sharon's documents, Phil's testimony, and Gemma's story, Nadia reached out to a journalist known for uncovering corporate scandals. Together, they compiled an expose that detailed the pharmaceutical company's unethical practices. When the story broke, it made national headlines. News outlets featured Phil jogging in the park, his head back to normal size, and Gemma smiling with her flat stomach restored. Sharon gave an emotional interview, calling for stricter regulations in the medical industry. The company faced lawsuits, and Clenorax 12 was permanently banned. For Nadia, the victory was personal. She had turned her own strange discovery into a mission to protect others. In the final scene, she sits at her laptop, speaking directly to her growing audience. How often do we trust the system without question? How many of us assume our medical records tell the whole story? I almost did, and it nearly cost me the truth. Always ask questions. Always dig deeper. Because your health is too important to live in the hands of secrecy. How well do you know what's in your medical records? Share your story. Please, I ask for your support. Every like goes a long way. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe so that you can get first notification of my new video. Thank you.